One of the things in one of the future lessons we're going to talk about is that just exactly on what kind of things you should store. Personal information, insurance cards. You take your wallet or your purse out and take everything that you think is important there, put it on a computer, on a copier, press print. Make a copy of every single one of those things and keep them with you. That's an excellent point. I have a bumper sticker in my garage that my children love to look at, and it says, "Never eat more than you can lift." Now, when you want to go into a 72-hour kit, you can make a kit so complex, so perfect, that you yourself could not lift it. It's not like, oh, is could God make a rock so big you couldn't lift it kind of thing? If you have a 72-hour kit that is so large and enormous, which is entirely easy to do, and you couldn't carry it, or you couldn't carry it for any distance, it's not going to serve you very well. Because you're going to put it on your back, you're going to walk about however far you're going to walk, you're going to go, all right, this is out, that's out, no more of that. But the biggest thing we need, which is water, is also the heaviest thing that there is to have. So you kind of have to make that balance on how much you're going to carry versus what you're going to do. So the other thing that I almost always get is, should I buy one? Buy a pre-made 72-hour kit. Or should I make one? Now, I'm in the business of selling 72-hour kits. So what do you think I'm going to tell you? I'm not going to tell you that you should buy one. Although I'd really like it if you wouldn't, if you buy it for me. But a combination of both. And let me tell you why. This one is not a pre-made kit, but this is the one that I carry in my car. Now, this backpack actually happens to be the backpack I carried in college. Whatever it is, I think you should buy one. It's lasted a very long time. It's seen better days what it is. Eastpak. I bought this and carried it around for college. This is the one that I have in the back of my car. It is not a pre-made pack. It is one that I've stuffed myself. But because I'm in the business and I sell the kind of stuff, it's stuffed with some, most, or all of the stuff that are in a pre-made pack. If you buy a pre-made pack, my suggestion to you is you get one that has enough extra room in it to put in the things that you want to put in. If you get a pre-made pack that is so full that you can't put any of your things in it, the things that you need in it, then it's not going to serve you very well. So make a homemade kit, you can take it, and by the way, I'm going to give a small list, or I have a small list available, but I'm not going to, if you came here looking for exactly what should go in a 72-hour kit, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that because what you put in it is up to you. If you live, if you work 5-6 miles from where you live, do you need to have a tent in your 72-hour kit? I don't think so. I don't know about you, but I could probably make that 5 or 6 miles fairly easily. Even in the worst of conditions, I could probably do it in less than 24 hours. So I'm not going to need a tent. But if you work 45, 50 miles away from where, then having some kind of shelter, tent or otherwise, would probably be a good idea. Okay? And so I have a kind of a what's good, better, best. Like I started out by saying, a 72-hour kit, a bottle of water. That's it. That serves all your needs. Okay? But making one from scratch can be less expensive than buying one pre-made. Yes, Malia?
I like the buckets because I found that with the backpacks, when we got tired, there was no place to sit down. And the buckets with those screw on top, the gamma seals, you can sit down. So, but the hard thing is they're hard to carry and your hands are full. So you have to consider that.
I didn't bring one because I had one last month when we had last month's demonstration. I had one of them here, so I brought a different thing this time. But yes, you can have those as well. They also work for sanitation rooms. The toilet that I had last time, the same thing. It's a 72 in a bucket. And so yes, it does. So it's kind of like the last month's discussion. There is no right answer, no one kit that will do it for you, because your needs are different from my needs, are different from her needs. So if you make it from scratch, what can you do? Well, for example, you have those food bars, right? You can get those food bars. I recommend them. They taste really good. They carry a lot of calories in a very small area. But do you want to survive for 3 days on food bars? I don't necessarily. So my favorite food, tuna. I have a can of tuna in here, and I have tape to it, a can opener. They also have the tuna that has the open up lids that you don't have to have a can opener, but I just happen to not buy those. And I actually have two. The old adage, if you have one is none, two is one, so I have two. And so I have tuna, and I think also in there, I didn't bring it out, I think I have a can of Spam. in there as well. So I have the food bars, I have a can of tuna, and I have Spam. By the way, I like the tuna because it's packed in water. It's not going to dry you out, and I actually like tuna juice. So. Something else I have in my kit that you don't get in a pre-made kit, I have a deck of playing cards. I figure if I'm out on the road and I'm stranded and it's a very dark and dirty night, I can strike up a game of poker with somebody and take all their money. Just something to while away the hours as you're bored. Like I said, these are not necessarily for life's big disasters. You know, if I happen to be sitting out somewhere and, you know, the kids or whatever, we can get out and play cards, play fish, or something like that to entertain the children for a while. So getting one and making one yourself can be less expensive. But if you start having to get some of the materials together, and you know you need just one of something, but you have to buy 20 to get it, that could tend to be a little more expensive. So you kind of have to weigh it out. I think that in my best judgment is, if you have these kind of things at home, like you've got some stuff put in the pack, great. If you already have some of it. If not, think about buying other stuff and putting it together. Or if you have starting from scratch, buy a pre-made pack and then add what you need into it. Because a pre-made pack starts with a lot of stuff. You need radios, flashlights, those kind of things. Speaking of which, did you all know that you get a prize just for being here today? I'm going to help you on your 72-hour kit before we leave. Okay? So how much should you spend on a 72-hour kit? You could spend next to nothing. Take your old college backpack, fill it with tuna, and a couple bottles of water. There you go. Old pair of shoes, socks, how much does that cost you? Nothing. Or you could get something like this and spend, and you can get, you can literally, this is an expensive one, but you go on the internet, you can find people who'll sell you full backpack rigs and everything, up to, $300 worth of stuff. I think that's a little overboard. But somebody had a great quote that I liked. It said, if you're about spending $300 for their backpack, and I thought that exorbitant, but I liked the quote under it. It said, if you think your dignity isn't worth $300, you should spend a week in your pajamas at a Red Cross shelter. A real possibility, with camera crews prowling around looking for the most pathetic images. I like that. That'd be you, right? And do they do that? Oh, certainly they do. Are they going to go to the family that looks all welcome, all together, well kept? Nah, they're looking for the people who got the biggest story. Okay. So what do you put in your kit? Well, it is as specific as where you are going. If you have to evacuate your home, are you going to rough it in the woods, or are you going to go to your sister's house? More likely, you're not going to be kicked out of your home and have to go live in the mountains for 4 or 5 days. You don't need a sleeping bag, an army saw, and earmuffs, especially not here in Southern California. You're more likely to have to leave your home and go visit your aunt, your Aunt Edna in San Diego, and go live with her for a few days. So if you need a saw, a compass, and a weapon in your backpack, or do you need a change of underwear and some hygiene, like your own toothbrush? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to share my Aunt Edna's toothbrush, and I certainly don't want to wear her underwear.